team.
Welcome to the DL Gaming Podcast. This episode, we're going to be talking about Baldur's Gate 3, Theme Park, Bulwark, Falconeer Chronicles, and last Epoch. But first, my name is Christian.
I'm Bobby.
I'm Nick. And I'm a professional.
That was good.
Been doing this for 10 years. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man.
I like the Go team. It inspired me. It pumped me up. We don't actually have a plug build in the episode today. Do we just want to do a random? Okay.
I'm standing up. I know nobody's watching this, but got my DL Gaming dystopian inspired game t-shirt on. It's one of my favorites, and you can have it too. dlgaming.net, and then merch or some shop, something like that.
Sure.
There's buttons all over the place. They all do different things.
Click them all. Why not?
Each one of them wonderful.
Cool. So I wasn't here last week. Actually, that's not important at all. On this episode, we ping things on this podcast, and I really want to quickly ping a channel called Sex Positive Gaming, which is the only channel I know that covers games where the primary focus is sexual content on Steam PC games. This is someone I've been watching for a while because I was like, oh yeah, whenever I look at the new and trending page, it's all porn games and nobody talks about it. No media, no creators. It's like a hidden side of Steam that a lot of horny people are using, you know? And so I think those horny people need content about, what's a good game that I should go for. And this girl is reviewing them and doing that. So just a cool niche, if you're interested in this stuff. We're all horny bastards. Go to Sex Positive Gaming and check it out.
And also, way to find a niche and exploit it. I mean, whatever. I mean, she's probably into it too, but also just she's probably like, why is this missing? I think I can fill this gap.
Exactly.
No pun intended.
You liar! Don't lie to the people.
Bobby, what are you pinging this week?
I didn't say I think I could stuff this hole, dude. I was like, fill this gap. I think it's more acceptable. All right. Anyway,
innuendo. So this week I went to a Lorcana tournament and it went pretty well. Placed sixth out of 16. So I'm happy with that. Plus with my super cheap deck. I feel like, you know what's funny? I really like Lorcana. I think it's a very well-balanced game at this point. Every one of my games was very close. They were either won or lost by like a turn. And that was frustrating for the games that I lost. I don't know. At one point during one of my games that I lost, I dropped a card, and it was a board wipe card. So the person kind of saw it coming. So I think maybe I don't know. He probably still
of all the cards to drop.
Yeah, I know. It was really the worst one to drop. But anyway, so because I play so high, I got usually they give you packs or something based on how many wins you get. So I got 2 packs, and in one of them, I got a misprint, which I've never pulled one of these before, but it is just a Lorcana card, and then it just says discard on it instead of actually having a card printed. And it was in the spot of one of the rares. I'm holding it up here on the episode if you're watching, but
is that worth anything?
I figured it had to be. So there's a face group dedicated to buying these things. And I looked it up on eBay and they're selling for anywhere from $40 to $50 around there. So, and one of the guys at the tournament messaged me on Discord and was interested in buying it. So I'm going to probably try to work out something with him, maybe a trade or something like that. Yeah, I do collect these cards, but I'm not necessarily interested in the discard or the misprints so much. That's like hardcore collector.
Yeah, but you can totally strengthen your deck out of this, right?
Yeah, I could.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what route I'm going to go. I may get some cards I'm going to need. I mean, I like my cheap deck. It's creative. It's just not what everyone else is playing. I honestly have fun playing it, which is kind of why I stick with it. So I don't know. I mean, spending money to get a better deck's no problem. I could do that, but I just, I don't know. I'm always trying to like
Yeah.
work the odd angle and trying to be different, but and never as successful. But
what
either
would be
that or I'm going to
different,
trade
Bobby?
it for a bunch of foils. Yeah.
What would be really different is you hang that up on your wall as art. You know?
People be like, "What the fuck is that thing?"
Yeah, I don't know if
Like,
anyone would really
boy.
get it. It looks
Yeah.
pretty plain. Like honestly, it doesn't look like much, but apparently what these are is if when they print sheets of these cards, there's always one that's blank for whatever reason, and it says discard on it. So they get those and they destroy them. But then sometimes they make it into the packs, very rarely. And I guess one made it into one of my packs.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Speaking of art on a wall, no, vete para afuera. Okay, muy bien, good job. She's making. She's 4 years old. She just turned 4, and she just did her first Lego. by herself.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's the Lego?
Um,
Something simple, probably.
Yeah, it's like Disney train.
Okay.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I showed her how to do the first one, and she just did the second one by herself. So I'm very proud.
Oh, yeah.
So the Magic the Gathering started. They're like at some point they're like, hey, we have all these lands. Let's try to make them pretty at some point. And I remember Kamigawa came out, and there were like Japanese inspired lands, and they all kind of look like that famous like wave, that Chinese wave. I don't know what it's called.
You mean Japanese wave?
Japanese, sorry. And they're gorgeous. And so John ordered foils of each of them and put them in a frame and put them on his wall. I was like, yeah, they are art, and for somebody who's been playing for so long, it also inspires feelings. So it is something to be done for sure. And now what's the newest one, Nick? There's like a super foil now. What's that? Rage foil?
It's called an etched foil. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's like anything super special, to be honest.
Yeah.
What it is that there's foiling, and then there's an additional layer on top of it to like protect it.
Interesting. And then so I was telling Sam, she's like, you spent a lot on cards recently, and I was like, yeah, because the Fallout was like $200, and then all the bells and whistles and stuff. So you're in for like $400. But I got a nice set, and I'm happy with it, and I can play with whoever comes over or whatever. Bobby's going to come over later today. We're going to play. But I'm like, but I'm good. I don't have to buy any more Fallout. I got the Fallout. I'm happy. And then I'm listening to this guy talk about Magic, and he's like, yeah, I'm not really good. I don't really like this expanded universe stuff. And then next year they're coming out with Marvel, and then Star Wars the year before that. After that, I'm like, oh, fuck. Well, there goes another $600 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, for sure, I'm gonna. Yeah, if there's an X-Men one, dude, 100% bought. It's already bought, guaranteed.
Yeah, no, dude. The expanded universes, it is a very divisive issue because of the fact of how much power creep there is. Like some of the cards are insanely stronger than others, and it becomes like a people say it's pay to win. I'm like, dude. In some cases, yes. Some cases, it is very much pay to win. Like there are cards in the Warhammer decks or the Lord of the Rings decks that are just really fucking good, and then there's some that are just complete ass. What it is people are losing value because these decks are coming out, and they're losing value for cards that they've collected, and so they're obviously salty about that.
That's always happened though. Like there's a name for it, but cards have always just become more powerful since after the first set. Like they were really shitty, and then they're just slightly more powerful year by year by year by year. And then but then it's kind of these commander decks are 100 cards. The chances of you getting that really powerful card is not very powerful. 20%, 25%.
Yeah, it's just like, for example, there are cards in some of the sets that are like $40. Like just one card in that 100 card deck, it's like $40. And like Commander's are very much a game type where you will pull those cards because you can force yourself to.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it's made.
I
I know people play fucking Commander tournaments, but I think it's for a home fun setting. Play for
Oh,
fun.
100%.
Don't
I think
play
so.
for
I think
fucking-
so too.
If you try hard, yeah, you can spend fucking $1,000 and win all the time. But what fun is that?
The
Anyway,
fun is winning.
yeah. Nick, what do you got?
So the new phase of Season of Discovery came out. For those who don't know what Season of Discovery is, it is a special thing that Blizzard is doing for WoW, where they are using Classic as a way to put in new stuff into Classic. They started everybody at 0. Yeah, it's like a reimagining
WoW.
of exactly. And so phase 3 just dropped. It's been hectic. And they dropped a new kind of function in the game where it was for people to kind of catch up who've missed a lot. And it kind of busted the economy. So what was happening was that every time you did the quest or did a quest, you would get 2 gold, which is a lot of gold, and you get 6 of those quests. And so you'd get 12 gold. And then you could repeat those quests. But the thing is, when you repeat them, you weren't supposed to get 2 gold. You were supposed to get 2 silver. So essentially, you couldn't just farm money all day. Well, for the first 2.5 days, that did not function like that. It was all bad. And ended up messing up the economy so bad, they had to freeze the auction house and all trading for over 8 hours.
Wow.
And
Government intervention, and we're never safe, even in our virtual worlds, dude.
And so it was just really interesting to be a part of that. The kind of shitty thing is that I got an item that was worth about 1,000 gold, and which is very, very, very rare, and that's like $90 in real life money. And I was like, oh, sweet, I get to get gold and never have to worry about it again, really. And nope, that's not the case. Because all the gold was busted, I was forced to sell it for like 500 gold. And yeah, it literally made, like I said, half as much than I thought I would.
Should have held on to it, it seems like, till
Nope, because the economy is still busted. Now that item is selling for 200 gold.
It's
Wait,
almost
why is
like
it selling for less? Wait, that doesn't make any sense.
Because
isn't there more of those items
because
that push the price down?
Because the value of gold has depreciated.
But if there's more
value of gold is
things become
depreciated.
more expensive.
So here's one of the things about Season of Discovery that some people don't like. So there's a thing called BIS, right, or best in slot, which means it's the item that is best for you in the game, right? At that level. And so when you do raids or you do dungeons, you're like, oh, I really hope this dagger drops a specific one because it's the best one I can get. Well, the item I got was called Flurry Axe. And what it is every time you attack, you have a chance of attacking again for free instantly. And for shamans and warriors, it's really good. Well, it used to be. Now, because there's so many new options because of Season of Discovery, it's no longer BIS. It only fits a very niche play type. And the people that play that play type, there's not that many of them. And so when I sold it. I didn't use the auction house. I was yelling in Orgrimmar, and I was like, hey, I got Flurry Axe. And I got an older player that thought it was still BIS. I never checked what was the best thing, and he bought it.
Oh, you're a scumbag.
Yes, 100%.
The economy was broken. I did what I had to do to feed my children in Orgrimmar or wherever you were.
But yeah, no, it's always interesting to see. It's always interesting to see when that kind of stuff happens in like a game economy, because it wasn't just one server. It wasn't just my server. It was all of them. And right now, there's another thing going on that is going to probably crash the servers that host instances. So it'll be interesting to see that.
Real quick birdwalk for the Star Wars Galaxies Restoration Project. There is space and ground combat, and we edited things so that on the ground end of the game we would get less credits because we wanted to stop inflation from the get-go. So previously it was 1,000 credits. We just cut the 0 off of everything. Now it's 100 credits because it's a player-owned economy. So eventually it would inflate, but hopefully in 2 or 3 years then we could control that then. But it didn't apply to the space portion of the game for some reason, and we didn't figure that out till like 2 months down the line, because certain space players would go in certain space zones and take advantage of all these credits they were making, which was inflated beyond anything imaginable. So we ruined the economy of the entire MMO because certain players are making 2 or 3 million credits a day, where players on the ground were making maybe 10K.
Damn.
And when we
You'd
nerfed
be-
space, those players were so upset they quit the game.
Good. Welcome to game development, right?
Yeah, dude. That is the nature of the beast. People always try to exploit shit, and when they do, and they get stopped for doing it, they get super mad and they quit.
Yeah, it was like, this isn't good for anyone, you know? Like this type of imbalance. They were like, you hate space players. It's like, all right, well.
You're like, yes, I do.
So, speaking of exploiting the game, last Epoch just came out with a patch that's so it's so funny because when was the duping thing done in Diablo? I remember 20 years ago, you could duplicate items and people were just, completely broke the economy. And now it's happening to less Epoch. People are duplicating gold and items, but they put a stop to that, and I think they punished some of the people that were using it. But that has nothing to do with me because I'm just a lowly single player. I mean, I play
Epocher?
online. Yeah, I'm a single epocher.
Epoch all day, son.
So I've been playing a little bit more, got a little bit more into it. I'm definitely not into the bells and whistles yet, but just some things that I noticed. First of all, I'm really enjoying the game. I think the flow and the rhythm of the game is very good. Like, specifically, what I mean is most of my cooldowns are not all the way back by the time I engage with the next group of enemies. So I can't do the same rotation every group of enemies. I have to kind of think on my feet a lot more than Diablo. I feel like it was like 3-2-1, 3-2-1, 3-2-1 every single time. And on this one, I don't have my cooldowns back, so it's not hard, but I have to be way more active. At least maybe I have a shitty class, I don't know, but that's how I'm playing right now, and I tend to like it. And I'm having, now that the difficulty's ramping up a little bit, I do have to be on my toes. I died for the first time today. Mine had something to do with a 4-year-old in this year and a 38-year-old in this year, like, but I died and it sucked. No huge penalty for dying, but I it sucks.
Just the shame that we all
Just a
judge you
shame.
with.
Yeah.
Shame.
Shame. So it has some funny little bugs that you wouldn't expect from or that you would expect in something from a beta, or like something that hasn't hit its 1.0, which it's just weird. Like when you load the game will load, and then you'll see the loading page again. Like you'll see your character and then it'll go back, and then you'll see the loading screen, and then you'll go back to seeing your character. Or every time you use a portal, you walk through the portal, and there's flickering between worlds. Like they haven't figured that out. Now, I'd rather have that than some other fucking thing that hurts the game. These are just like little weird things, that you wouldn't expect on something that's this big, but there they are, and I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. So at the beginning of the game, you choose from 5 classes, which I guess is the same as Diablo, but then each one of them has a branching subclass, three branching subclasses. I thought it was like when the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, you go from this to this to this to this, so you play all subclasses. But no, it's once you get to a certain level, you pick the subclass, and that's what you are from then on. You can't go back from that. So I went from to Beastmaster, from Primalist. Yeah, Primalist can become a druid, a Beastmaster, or some other thing I forget. But man, the amount that you can like narrow down something in this game and do whatever the fuck you want is, I mean, as far whoever's coming up with the options and the items and doing the numbers part of this game, that person is excelling like crazy. I think he's carrying the whole game, because that part's incredible. So you can, the amount of customization, like any ability. I know I've talked about it before, but any ability that you happen to like has its own skill tree. So you just equip that ability and then you just start working on. So that ability that you like so much, you can go in 4 different directions with it and customize it more and more. But if something else pops up that you like even more than that ability, you start on that ability, but you have to start this quest tree over at not from scratch, but you do. So like recently I went to Beastmaster. So I went from having 3 wolves. I can now have 2 raptors, but I didn't like the raptors as much, so I stayed with the wolves. They're more like they get along better. Anyway, just loving it. I'm playing like a barbarian with pets, and there's a lot of synergies between me and the pet, and I feel like a little army running around. I'm having a really good time with it, for sure.
When you and Bobby talk about this game, I would just really want to play it. The customizability seems so enticing.
Dude, you can, if you like an item, if you like a perk from this weapon, but you love this other weapon, you can risk ripping that off of there. Hopefully you get the one that you want, then you'll have it. And then you risk putting it on the other one. And you could put it 2 ways. You could put it directly on, and there's a chance it's going to work, pretty good chance it's going to work. Or there's like a chaotic way you could put it on, where you could put it on and roll the dice on it as well. So now it's got bleeding plus lifesteal, and then you get some random bonus point. But the odds of it working are not as high as if you were to put it straight on. It's like grafting perks, dude. It's so cool.
I think Rianne would really like this game. I think she would devour this game.
I think you guys should play it together. I think you have a really good time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, for sure. And last thing, never safe. So it's funny because somebody else was talking about this game in chat on our Discord, dlgaming.net, and was saying that like did not like that when you go back to a level, it's all respawn. Everything, there's never a point where like if you just left the zone, you go back in, completely repopulated. If you hit the town portal, you go back to town, you sell, you come back just to pick up all those weapons on the ground. Not only are the weapons not on the ground anymore, it's you're getting destroyed by who knows, and it's random too. You could come right back into a nest of elites. Like there's no safety. So
that sounds nuts, dude.
Yeah,
what the
crazy.
fuck?
It's crazy, dude. And I'm still not used. Like I've done it to myself like 15 times now, and I still like, oh fuck, god damn, I gotta be, because usually you're so safe. It's the safest thing to do in Diablo, because you come back and you're like, my treasure's here. No, treasure's not there, man. You got to work everything out before you go. It's really interesting. I don't know if I like it or dislike it, but like I said, this game keeps you on your toes. It's not as, you can't be as laid back as you are with Diablo. I feel like Diablo really turns into a grind fest where you don't have to sit forward in your seat. You can just lay back. But maybe that's just me playing this poorly. But yeah, I enjoy it more.
Sweet. Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's no theme park.
It's no theme park. I'm excited for Bobby to talk about this, actually. What's going on?
Oh boy, theme park. Yep. Everyone's favorite sim game from 1994.
How could we forget?
Yeah, this was a classic for me. I loved this game. And the way I ended up playing it this week was kind of a roundabout way. So they were having a sale on Steam, and in this sale was Planet Coaster. And I thought it reminded me of theme park. And I thought, I'll give it a shot. You know, I'm kind of in the mood for a simulation game like this, and a theme park or a roller coaster seemed like kind of a fun environment. So the reason they call it Planet Coaster is because it's like an open world experience. They really tried to incorporate that into it. I got into this game and it was just like I was immediately lost. It didn't do a very good job of tutorializing you at all. What you really need with a game that's this complex. So obviously you try to build a theme park with a bunch of roller coaster rides and turn a profit on it. That's the idea of the game. But you can jump into a sandbox, or they have all these different missions that you can do. And I started off with what I thought was the easiest one, but I really couldn't figure out what to do or like how to go about like what's the first step. I need next steps here. Like what's going on? And I don't know. Maybe I was just completely missing something, but the game was also throwing all this all these like DLCs in my face and
Oh yeah.
all these different things that you could purchase. And then when I was just like, I'll just get into the sandbox and play around and see if I can figure this out. And it was a little too involved for me. It was like I'm building an entrance, then I'm building a walkway, and it's like having me set the elevation for the walkway and
Dude,
like
yeah.
all the angles. And I'm just
Jeez.
In Planet
like,
Zoo, Bobby, I had the same by the same developer. I had the same experience.
Mhm.
You know, it was just way too involved. I'm like putting the glass on the side of the rhinoceros enclosure, and I'm like choosing the height of it. I'm like, bro, no,
Yeah.
I just want to
you
make
can
a
modify
zoo.
the buildings, which I mean, that
Yeah.
level of detail is kind of cool, but like in reality, I don't want to do that. I was looking for something a little more advanced than Jurassic World, but
Yeah,
because Jurassic World was great, but then when you got really into the game, it was just like, oh, this is kind of simple. So they had a Steam Workshop, which was cool too for Planet Coaster, and I noticed they had all the rides from Theme Park, this old Bullfrog production game from back in the day that I absolutely loved. And it got me thinking, man, maybe I should just play Theme Park again. Maybe that's where it's at. And I loaded it up. You know, I got it on GOG. I loaded it up, and man, that game is old. Yeah, it's kind of tough to play now. So Theme Park, it was made by Bullfrog Productions, which was Peter Molyneux's development studio in the 90s, and they made some bangers. I mean, they had Theme Park. I think they made a few Theme Park games. They had Theme Hospital, which I
dude,
actually
Theme
absolutely
Hospital.
loved.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, dude, fucking
That-
amazing.
That was really just great because that was 97. That was a few years later, and they had the graphics were better. It was kind of like a 3D isometric view, and then it had these funny little cutscenes, and it was all like kind of comedic too.
Yeah, it wasn't serious. It wasn't like real hospitals where you go in.
Yeah.
Like, this is depressing.
Yeah, no, it was definitely kind of a parody. It felt like they were parodying ER a little bit, but in a real funny way.
Look at all these
But they
sick
made other
people.
popular games too, like Populous and Syndicate that I didn't play, but I'm sure a lot of other people did. I played a little bit of Populous, but didn't like it much. And then, of course, Peter Molyneux, he went on to make Fable with Lionhead Studios and then Goddess, which did not end well. I think they just took that game off of Steam, actually. That was a huge disappointment. But Peter Molyneux was always regarded as just this like great developer from the UK that made a lot of these sim games. And then RPGs. So yeah, Theme Park. I couldn't get very far in the game just because it was so old, and I was just like, man, this even for me, this is a little much. And I forgot in that game. So when you crank up the speeds on the rides, they go faster and faster, but they break down more often. But also your patrons get sick and they throw up. So I had this idea that like, I'm just going to crank all my rides up. I'm going to get a mechanic. We're just going to and we're just going to get these lines moving, and I'm going to make short lines because we're just moving through the customers so fast. But then I forgot about the vomiting thing, and it wasn't so bad. Like I knew it was going to happen, and I got like the custodian or the cleanup people. Like I bought enough of them to clean up the vomit. But what
You can
happens
say
is
it. You can say it. You got a bunch of Emilios. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
what happens though is when these people vomit, it plays a sound effect. And this is an old game, so we didn't really think like maybe we don't want to play it every single time someone throws up. But in my big park where all the rides are running at full speed, we're just turning them out one by one and everybody's vomiting, and that's part of the experience. It's like a vomit theme park, but it's going to play that vomit sound every single time. So it eventually got to the point where I just had to like turn the audio off because it was just like bleh, 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 just constantly. And like, I don't know how I didn't run into that before playing this game. But yeah, I'm vaguely interested in the other theme park games. There's like a Theme Park Inc. or something, and a Theme Park World that look like they were made years later. I'm guessing by the fact that I never heard of them before, never played them, they weren't that good. But I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood for a sim game, which doesn't happen often. But I need something that strikes a good balance between the complexity and the simplicity. Maybe the Against the Storm. What is that one?
Oh, Against the Storm, dude. That is that
Maybe
strikes
that's
the
what
right
it's at.
balance, but be careful of all your free time because it wants it.
Yeah, that's always the danger of this. I've been looking at 2 Point Hospital. They actually have 2 Point Campus, which looked cool, but
Oh yeah,
it
the 2 Point
is-
games. Did you ever
Yeah.
try any of them, Bobby?
No, I've never
Oh,
tried
okay.
any of them. 2 Point Hospital is pretty cheap. 2 Point Campus just came out, and I kind of like the setting a little bit more. I think it was on Game Pass for a while too,
Oh, cool.
but not anymore. But it got me thinking, and maybe Christian's more qualified to answer this. But when it comes to these sim games, does it really matter what the theme is? Like whether it's a school or a hospital or a theme park? Like at the end of the
Dude,
day, does it?
Well, no, but I think the theme adds. I think the theme
no.
adds all interesting mechanics on top. Like a good theme will have mechanics on top of it that make sense and are like rewarding. So like Prison
Like
Architect.
fun factor.
Yeah, the Prison Architect. The thing there is like prisoners are passing contraband between each other, and you're managing a prison and you're trying to make money. It's a for-profit prison. It's like America. But the prisoners are
complex.
passing contraband, and if they pass a knife and someone gets stabbed, that's not really good for business. So you had that on top of the game.
Yeah, and Prison Architect's a good example because that can create mechanics that can exist in that game that won't exist in like a theme park game.
Yeah.
Hey, Bobby, your throw up story reminded me of. So I was on Reddit, and it was like games that are actually more complex than they look, or something like that. And Dwarf Fortress comes up, right? And they're like, yeah, it's infinitely more complex than you think. And then somebody put a comment in, it's, oh yeah, like the time that they added bartenders to the game, and the dwarves got so drunk that they threw up, and the cats walked through the throw up and then licked their paws clean and got wasted, and all the cats died because they weren't supposed to like all of that was intended that the cats were going to walk through the throw up and lick their paws and clean themselves, but nobody thought, well, they fucked up with how much liquor that was going to actually give it. So the number was off. So each time they cleaned the paw, it was a full stein of beer. And so these cats were killing themselves in the corners, and there's just piles of cats dead in the corner, and nobody can figure out why.
And then the rats, dude, right? And then the fucking rat problem the dwarves have to deal with. It just never ends.
It's just funny. Bobby, I wasn't listening. Did you the workshop items, did it improve the game for you?
No, the workshop items I returned Planet Coaster. I just couldn't do it, man. Like I'm not going to get into that game. No interest. But the workshop items, they were kind of cool, but it was just really it was just like the physical item you could put in the game didn't really affect it that much. Yeah.
So I want to do a little round table. Out of all of us, what game had the workshop items that you enjoyed the most?
What games had the workshop?
Yeah.
So Star Wars Empire at War.
Oh, that's the RTS, right? The old RTS.
Yeah, they put all the
new
expanded
units?
Universe.
Wow.
They changed the game. They made the map like 100 times bigger. They added so many custom units. You can go through all the eras of Star Wars. The Old Republic, the New Republic, the Civil War, like when the Confederacy and the droids and stuff. None of that was in the base game. It's just amazing.
Wow, that's better than my answer for sure. For me, it's Epic Battle Simulator. You can just everything's in there now. Everything from everything is in there. Aliens, fucking Warhammer 40K, GI Joe. Yeah, if you can think about it, somebody's fucking put it in there.
I played that off your account like a month ago, and I had a good deal of fun. But I downloaded AT-ATs and like they weren't walking properly, and their
Yeah.
laser beams were like going
Oh, that
across the whole
happens.
map. I was like, what the fuck?
Are you talking about Ultimate Epic Battle Simulator or Total?
Yeah.
No, not Total doesn't have that, unfortunately. It doesn't have custom units.
Doesn't
I
have
don't-
a Tabs doesn't
no.
have a workshop.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
think
I
it's
like
right.
Tabs more as a game, though. Christian, you ever
Yeah.
play Tabs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I beat
Campaign.
whatever the campaign is.
Yeah.
But I do believe that they have a workshop now, and that was like a big beat for them. And I haven't gone back since.
Maybe I did play it
that
and I
may
wasn't
have
happy
happened.
with it. I don't know.
Not happy, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
How can you not be happy?
I play the
How
fucking
could-
shit out of that game, though. It's probably the best campaign in, generally in RTSs, if you want to call it that. It's kind of not really, but the campaign kind of sucks. But on that one, it's challenging, and you
Yeah.
really got to think about. As goofy as the whole thing is, it is challenging.
And it's still a strategy game. Bobby,
Yeah.
just really quick, you're looking for a simi game. Roller Coaster Tycoon 2? That still holds up.
Dude,
and it's
that's
an
one of
old
the
game.
greats.
Yeah, I might check that one out. Roller Coaster Tycoon. There were 2 of those games, right? Maybe more, 2 that I remember. But those are pretty old. Not as old as Theme Park, but
Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is the one I spent a lot of time on. That's from 2002. I think that's in your wheelhouse of what could still be fun and not like super too old to enjoy.
Bobby or Nick, you have a Steam Workshop game?
Hands down, Total War Warhammer 3. The thing, well, it came from 2 and they imported it to 3. You can change every single aspect of like ratios for the games, and you can start giving things like really insane like abilities.
Stats.
Yeah, so like for example, there's like a pirate, there's like a pirate cannon. It's called the Queen Bess, and when it fires, you can change it so that when it explodes a bunch of goblins that will start stabbing people. Like you can do whatever you want.
That's awesome.
It's really fun. It's really cool.
Bobby, you got any?
The only time I've really used the Steam Workshop was actually, this is probably not accurate. I'm sure I've used it outside of this, but the most I've used it was with Left 4 Dead 2. And mostly for skin, sounds, maps, but it was great, man. I mean, there's just so much comedy to be had there. I've talked about this before, but the mods that I loved using was just turning the charger into that Neon Cat or whatever it is, the one that has
Neon
the
Cat.
rainbow. Yeah, that one. That's hilarious. Turning all the common infected into there was one that it kind of messed up the game a little bit, like it made it hard to play, but it was really funny. It would turn all the common infected into Steam discount tags, when they'd have a Steam sale, like 50% off, 20% off. I don't know if they do that anymore, like the little green tag, but
Yeah, I don't think so.
that was pretty funny and topical. And then of course my favorite one, just so simple, so genius. It made it changed the sound cue that played when you got into the safe house and closed the door and finished the mission. It changed it into like the Seinfeld music that they play like at the end of a scene. And it was just- yeah, it was like that, that real like bassy riff, like it's like a comedy riff or something. And it was so fitting because every time you're doing the mission, it was just like, what's the deal with these it was just, I don't know. It just made everything feel like it was just like you're going to commercial on Seinfeld.
My favorite mod. I mean, I didn't mod it very much because I really enjoyed fucking Left 4 Dead. Okay, yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 is a good game. But I did mod one time, and I played the Helm's Deep map, which I loved, and I don't know if it was me or whoever I was playing with turned the common infected into velociraptors. So it was Helm's Deep, and we're being attacked by velociraptors, and again, kind of like broke the game a little bit because the bodies are so much thicker. They would stack up, and you couldn't see what was coming. And the common infected could just run right through it, and so you didn't know what was coming in. But yeah, dude, Helm's Deep with velociraptors. What could be better?
What can men do
Truly
against
nothing.
such reckless dinosaurs? Cool.
It's a peak of technology if you really think about it.
I'm going to talk about a game called Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles. It's $20 American, folks, by single developer Thomas Sala. And it finally came out after me talking about it way too much. Emilio described it as looking like an old pop-up cardboard storybook. And when I played it this time, I totally got that like immediately, because the building, you have basically a paintbrush and you're painting your city on these mountains as you extend your resource network around these walkways, which is where your people live, and they will kind of expand and take up the space from these nodes that you connect from resource to resource. So, like visually, the game is super. It's beautiful. Like there's so many opportunities for great screenshots, and if you zoom in a lot, you can see new businesses start to open. You, as you go around the map, the lore of this region is that there used to be a big empire, pretty typical, and then it collapsed. Spoiler alert, it usually happens. And so there's all these people that you meet that used to be part of this empire, and they do something specific. I met this ship who sells boilers for ships and houses, and they said, "Can we come to your nation?" I said, "Of course, I want boilers in my nation. I want my people to be warm." After I met this person, all the houses had smokestacks and like little fires in them. Nothing to do with gameplay. That's completely like a story roleplay thing that just changes the cosmetics of your city.
Sick.
Yeah.
It is kind of cool, and you meet these people everywhere. Sawmill runners, coal furnace scoopers. That's not what they're called, but
I'm
yeah.
not going to volunteer for this, but somebody needs to sex Thomas Sala dick, because this is incredible. Like, what one person has done this? Like, wow.
Yeah.
It looks so fucking cool, man.
It is, and it has this layer of completely cosmetic stuff that you can get lost in, but also there is like a real strategy behind the game itself, which is fun to play in. You connect these resource nodes, and you build. It's a little of Anno. You're building trade routes from island to island, and the farther these trade routes are, the more opportunity that they will be raided by pirates. And so you have to defend from pirates. The pirates are a faction of their own. Some pirates live in your bases. It's a lot of juggling these three factions as you expand and try to increase your resource production.
What do you think about the game part of it? Obviously, the world building is super cool, but what do you think about the game part of it?
The game part is fun. I would appreciate if these professionals that you met in the world added some sort of economy to the game. But what happens is you'll also meet these commanders, and your tech tree is these commanders that you meet. And some commanders have like a bigger radius that they'll defend your islands on. Others will increase resource production in an island where they're protecting. So you level up this family tree, which is just these people that you meet from all these different factions, which is an interesting way of doing it. I haven't seen that before. Dude, when you're defending, yeah, well, you're generals and leaders, I guess, but they're all these Zeppelin commanders, because the game is like, what's it called? Not steampunk. Is it steampunk?
Sure,
Zeppelin punk, I want to say.
Yeah,
Is that something?
Yeah. Air punk.
Probably somewhere.
Airpunk, yeah. It says Airpunk
1920s
universe,
Germany.
and you'll be like, "My lord, a pirate, a trade route is under attack from pirates." So I click on the map. I unfurl my map. It makes a really awesome sound. I'm like, "Oh yes." I put where I'm going to go. My Zeppelin starts going in that direction, and as you meet these people on the map, they join like your command fleet. So I have like eagle flyers, I have boats on the ground that are underneath me, I have fellow pirate zeppelins that have joined my cause, and we fly in this awesome formation, and we just start shooting the pirates, and they start shooting at us, and it's like the beginning of a Star Wars battle or something. Like, it's super awesome, and I haven't gotten tired of it each time. I'm like, oh, they're using these like plasma thrower weapons, and eagles are being knocked out of the sky. That's crazy. Let's get them. Like, it's a fun game. You can tell that the scope of the game is small. I don't know when I'm gonna get tired of it, but for $20, like, I can definitely recommend this. The other unique thing is that Thomas Sala, the game dev, is like present in every menu. Just be like,
What?
He'll be like, this is the sandbox mode. By the way, I'm Thomas Sala, the developer, and like his little picture will show up in the top
Do you
right.
like it?
I have never seen it before, and I do like it because what he's coming from like a humble place. Like, this is what I was trying to do with the sandbox mode. This is what you might
like
this is what
a
you might
direct,
expect.
like a DVD commentary.
Yes, through all the menus of the game. You open the settings thing and you change like the colors of your nation and stuff. Thomas Sala popping up, being like, "Hey, did you know? Like, you can do this, this, and this. You know, for
Can
accessibility."
you turn that off?
I haven't found Thomas Sala.
Can you go San Sala?
San Sala? yeah, Sin Sala. Yeah. So I thought that was super cool that this dev is like guiding me through what he's through what he's made, because in a lot of other games you'll have like an NPC protagonist who will do the exact same thing, which really is just the developer giving like the developer's voice. So this guy just cuts out the middleman and like, no, I'm the guy, and this is what I kind of wanted.
I'm not letting no nameless NPC get credit. It's me. I'm the developer.
It gives a cool face to the game because he's so humble. He's like, this might not work out. I'm still testing. I'm like, dude, I'm in the game. You have me. I've bought the game. Like,
are the
I'm here for you.
NPCs are the NPCs sock puppets on his hand?
That's fucking funny. Yeah, the NPCs you meet are pretty honestly generic. Like, I couldn't tell you one from the other at just off the dome.
Dude,
so
let me jump back really quick to the last Epoch I was playing, and everybody sounds like typical fucking fantasy. We need to attack the fucking, the skeletons are running. Oh no, we got it. And then out of nowhere, they just ran out of people, and a dev got on there, and he's it's like could it be more stereotypical nerd voice for this like warrior at an inn? He was like, yeah, the potions, you can buy them right over there. I was like, oh boy, man, they really this is the physical part of the game where they ran out of funding, like right here.
This is the point. This is the moment in time you can see where exactly they ran out of money.
For Total War, they've done really cool things where fans that have passed away before the game came out played voice acting roles within the game, or maybe they had like their visual face on one unit in a squad of units.
Yeah, that's cool.
That was kind of cool.
So combat is basically just making sure an area is covered, or it's more involved in that.
No, you can take over different islands with your fleet and you defend your trade routes. It's not super involved. There's not a lot of strategy to it. The strategy is like building your flotilla that follows you and understanding the different types of like weapons and stuff that they have. But the actual combat part is basically just flying around, and the computer does all the shooties for you.
Gotcha.
Yep. Great game. Can't wait for more updates. This is an early access. I love you, Thomas Sala. Thank you. Thank you for making Bulwark Falconeer Chronicles. And try it out if this sounds enticing to you.
That's pretty.
It sounds enticing to everybody, man. That sounds so cool. Nick, you were playing Baldur's Gate a different way, I think.
Yeah, so I was gonna play it heavily modded, but I'm still playing every Friday with my niece and nephew, and so it's been pretty interesting. I thought it would be a lot quicker because I know I don't say everything, but I know a lot about the game, right? Boy howdy, have I been wrong about a lot of stuff. The last boss.
No, sorry.
the last boss. I was playing and I was like, oh, this will be pretty. Not the last boss. The last boss of the second act. I'm like, this will be pretty easy. It should take maybe 15-20 minutes just to do the fight. We are on our 7th try. And we're playing on the hardest difficulty besides hardcore mode. And yeah, we it has been a trip to say the least on like why it's been so hard. I just wanted to like talk about like I can't start Baldur's Gate until I finish Baldur's Gate with my niece and my nephew. So it's been interesting to say the least.
These are not nieces and nephews that I know, I'm guessing.
No, they're from Leslie's.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Cool.
There is hidden nieces and nephews, and stay away.
In Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, this game still wows me with all the shit that I've never seen before, and then also seeing their view of everything, right? Because they've never played some of the stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's telling to see how good a game is when you can play it multiple. Like, this is my 5th time doing Act 2, and it's not like a minor feat to do it. And I'm still loving it. So I don't know. It's fun. I like
Act 2 is the biggest act?
Shortest.
Okay.
Shortest.
One day in retirement, I'll play you Baldur's Gate.
God damn. His death wish. It's in his will.
Is not that, dude, 10 years from now?
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Jeez.
Okay. By the way, everyone, we were in highlights, which is games that we have been playing, and now we are moving on to another section on the same podcast called On the Radar, games that we are excited to play. And Bobby, you have a game?
I do. So a couple weeks, maybe a couple months ago, I talked about this game called Hyperspace. Very little was known about it at the time, except people were calling it Deep Rock Galactic, but in space. That seems kind of weird because Deep Rock Galactic is already in space. But
Space.
maybe it was another one of these co-op shooters in space. But they've renamed it from Hyperspace to Jump Ship.
Oh, love that. Love that change. 10 out of 10 change.
Didn't like the name Hyperspace. That sounded just too generic.
Well, apparently it was kind of like just kind of like a demo that they threw together for like a game jam or something. But it gained so much popularity that they're like, oh, we need to turn this into a game. That's the way I understand it. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know what the history of it is, but it does kind of take the idea of a 4-player co-op FPS, like a lot of these games that we see out there, not just like the first person shooting, but also the resource collecting. So you go on a mission, shoot up a bunch of enemies, collect resources, come back, spend the resources to upgrade your character, then go back in, do the same thing again, but on a harder difficulty because you have the upgrades. So it's that kind of gameplay loop, just like so many other games, but it's in space, and you're also you're going from the spaceship directly into these missions. It's kind of like there's like aerial combat involved in it, as well as like the first person shooting and zero-G space stuff. It all looks like it could be very good, but not a whole lot has been known about the game for a while. They do have a Steam page now with some more gameplay on it, screenshots and stuff. But I don't think we have any sort of release date or projected release date at this point.
It reminds me a little bit of that game that you guys were trying to get to work.
Pulsar Lost Colony.
Pulsar Lost Colony?
Yeah, which I absolutely love. And yeah, it does look a lot like that game. And God, I want Pulsar Lost Colony to work, but you need 6 people to man the entire ship. You could have some people doing double duty in roles, but yeah, it's just, and it's a little too complex for people to get into. It's not very accessible. So it's really hard to talk people into playing that game with you. But I really like that game and the idea of that game, what they were going for. I just thought was really great.
And the roleplay opportunities, Bobby.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Dude, Bobby's biggest complaint was that his teammates were having too much fun and singing when they should have been doing work.
Hey, Bobby showed up with a voice modded robot. You know, he was participating in a degree of roleplay.
Spoilers, that was his regular voice.
Emilio, you have some sort of project that I can't pronounce? Quarm?
Yeah, I think so. Project Quarm. I don't know. It's one of those things where you only ever read it. I think that was one of the servers for EverQuest,
Cool.
which is probably one of the realm. I don't know. I forgot exactly what they're named after. I think they were gods. Anyway, I'm getting too deep on something that's way too deep for me anyway. Somebody was saying like, "Hey, Emilio, come back and play EverQuest. You always talk about it." And I said I wouldn't have time to meditate even once. And meditating was you sit down and you open your spell book, and that's the only way to get your mana back. You have to sit and look at your book and your entire so it's a very old game, guys. So not only did you have the borders with your spells and the bottom where the text was, but that 40% of real estate that was your actual screen where you see bad guys a book would open up, and that's what you get to look at while your mana goes up. Now the idea of it originally was that's when, and now that I know this, the developer that came up with that was like, this is when people are going to talk to each other, like around the campfire. Like you're all sitting around meditating for 5 to 10 minutes, and this is when you get to know each other. Now I know that. Then I was like, oh, this is the worst shit ever, like, because you can't even see things coming at you. You could be randomly attacked by centaurs. Don't know. And you have to
why is
yourself.
Why is it gotta be centaurs, huh?
Because
what's
that came to
done to you?
This is why, because we used to farm this place that was called shit. It was like there was these bird people that lived in a huge bird house, and it was a big maze, like an upward maze, and we would farm it for fucking weeks and months, and it was on a savanna, and crazy shit, like for me then, crazy shit would happen. And one of the craziest things that I ever saw was like a group of centaurs hunting down like these saber-toothed cats, just on their own, NPCs doing that. I was like, wow, that is fucking impressive. Like, wow, And so yeah, so just randomly, while you're meditating, you just get beat up, just fucking here, you're dead. You lost fucking this much amount of time. Anyway, so I was like, yeah, I don't have the time for even meditating. Although this does say you can install it, and it has a video link to it on our Discord, dlgaming.net / hashtag on the radar. You can find this and how to install this game in less than 2 minutes. You don't have to pay for it anymore. If you're wondering what the fuck I was talking about all the time, that this is 20 times harder than WoW, then go see it. But the graphics are rough, guys. The graphics are rough. I'm not gonna lie about that. Besides that, there's rule sets. So when you make your own server, I think you download the whole thing and you run your own server, or you can join ongoing servers. You can take the rule set, aka the patch notes or the patch timeline of whatever expansion you want. So you could get the last one, the first one, whatever one you want. You can take the first rule set and apply it to the last expansion, all kinds of crazy shit. And there's a hardcore mode where death is permadeath. So all very cool things that the original game didn't have. Hats off to whoever made me in retirement. I'll see you in 10 years. Project
you have a
Quarm.
big list of keep adding to it. Never forget your dreams.
Yeah.
Nick, Democratic Detonation.
Yeah, speaking of dreams, no, I'm just kidding. No, the Helldivers future is terrible. Helldivers 2, they have something called they're not DLCs, they're very much, well, yeah, kind of, because you can earn them in game, and it's not very hard to earn them. You just really have to only pay like an hour or two a day for like 4 days, and you can unlock it. They're called war bonds, and it's kind of like a battle pass, but it's very much you choose what to unlock instead of you're forced to get whatever bullshit that they give you. So I guess they're doing this monthly now, because Helldivers 2 Democratic Detonation is coming out. If you don't use in-game currency, it takes, I believe, $10 to unlock. And you still have to do shit to unlock the stuff in the war bond. So it just
speeds it up.
No, it just gives you the opportunity to unlock that stuff. It's privy to you to actually unlock it manually than just to buy it, because you don't get the skulls that you need to be able to open stuff. As far as like stuff that's being added to the game, there's new guns, there's a crossbow, there's a new machine gun. Oh, not machine gun. There's a new assault rifle. There's a bolt action gun that shoots exploding rounds. And it's not really like a sniper rifle either. Like it's made to be used as like an oh shit gun kind of. And then the thing that everybody's throwing their titties up in the air about is a grenade pistol. And the reason being is that for one specific faction that you fight, there are these little bros.
Are everybody's eyes okay? Everybody started rubbing their eyes at the same time. Is everybody?
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, keep going. It's my bad.
Hey Nick,
I
does the grenade pistol go foomp?
Yes, it does go foom,
Oh,
by the
so
way.
good.
Oh God, I love when they go.
And so the reason why everybody's getting a little, I wouldn't say pissy about it, but some people are like, this is broken, or people are like, this is the best thing in the world, is that when you fight the bugs, there are these little hives that they come out of, and you have to throw a grenade in there or shoot an explosive in there or whatever. With the grenade pistol, because no one ever really uses their pistols ever, it just kind of nullifies that. Like it's just like, oh, this is now easy, because like there are parts of the game where like you have to destroy 10 of them, and you can just be like shoot, reload, shoot, reload, shoot, reload, and then like airstrike, and then you're done. I'm excited about it only because I don't really play the bug missions that much anymore. I play the robot ones. I think they're more fun. And apparently with the grenade pistol, when the little AT-STs attack you, you can shoot them in the leg and then they fall over. So I'm excited about that.
I don't
There's
question.
AT-ATs now, by the way, in Helldivers.
What are
and
they
they're
called?
direct ripoffs. Man, I think they're called replicator walkers.
Replicator walkers. I love that.
I love playing online games with Christian, because like we'll be, on this planet fighting these bugs, and Christian will be looking at like some random shit. He'll be like, look, like his character's like pointing up and down with his gun, looking at some like tree. Can you believe that this tree's in the game? I was like, Christian, there's fucking monsters all over the goddamn place. You'll be like, but this tree, like they took the time. Yeah, I know they took the time, but we don't have time. We're out of time. We're gonna die.
Guys, if you don't stop and smell the trees, what are you doing? Come on.
The virtual trees.
Yeah.
There's speaking of virtual trees, and I know you like the armor in that game. There's new armor. They're kind of appeasing to the people that have been complaining about certain things, like you die too fast if you get listed on fire, because you literally die in like 1.5 seconds. So like you'll be immune to all fire damage. There's another 2 types of armor that no one gives a shit about because they're not heavy armor. And then that's really about it. There's some new perks, but I don't think people know what they are yet, because they really don't reveal those until they come out. This game it's still popular. The fucking community's still super active. I'm surprised to see that. I mean, I'm not really surprised to see that, judging by how much support this game gets. Like every single day there's something going on in it, and you don't get punished for missing it at all. It's just enticing to play. Like, oh, there's a new mission because we just took out another planet today. Everybody, you have to defend these 2 planets or whatever. And
we pray really nice. At the shrine of Joel. We bask in his eminence, and we just appreciate the game master. I don't question if they're adding grenade pistols and people are complaining about the balance. I'm thinking there's going to be a super hard enemy where you'll need grenade pistols. Like, like, come on, people, get it together.
So the third faction has been theorized to be coming out very, very, very soon, like this month, because of the fact that the space where all the robots inhabit is about to be gone. Like I think they only have like 2 planets left, which should be like in 2 days they should be gone. And the third faction is from the first game, and they're kind of like the Protoss from StarCraft. Yes. Yeah, and I'm guessing that the grenade pistol is going to be absolutely useless against them, because like they can teleport, they can go invisible, they can like use energy shields and shit. Like I think it's either gonna be really good or just absolute shit versus them. But I'm excited for it. Like I play this game. I try to play at least once a week, and I've been doing that because I have some friends that like we play games on Tuesdays.
You're doing your part. You're literally doing your part.
I am doing my part. It's like the GIFs. I'm doing my part. But yeah, check it out. That War Bond comes out in 4 days, so April 11th.
Did Freedom Fridays ever work out?
Not so much freedom on the Friday, you know. A lot of yeah.
You mean the busiest day of the week for everybody?
True.
Bobby,
The freedomist day of the week.
Bobby, we're having baked potatoes for dinner. If you come hungry, you will be fed.
All right.
That sounds good
Baked
as shit. Dude.
potatoes. I can get on board with that.
I'm excited about baked potatoes. No, I'm not. I'm excited about Guess That Sound, guys. It's time. What?
Oh,
Did
no,
I skip
you're
something?
good. No, you're good.
Do I not know? Did you do Guess That Sound last episode? What's happening?
No, we skipped
did
it.
No, it is kind of a term trying to go from baked potatoes to guess that sound.
Believe it or not, the sound is a baked potato.
That's an interesting transition.
I hope the listeners are picking up on every clue I'm dropping. No, I was joking. Okay, there's $100 in the pot, guys. We've been guessing for so long. Keep going. We're almost there. You can email pixelshitshow@gmail.com to guess, and this is the sound that we're guessing. We're so close. Every week, I'll pick a random answer, and this week, I'm picking one from Bert Camj, or Camj? Sure. He says, it's a crowbar hit in Black Mesa. Now, this is very similar to last week's guess, but all the guesses are getting pretty similar, and I just want to... do we think this is warmer than last time? Do we think we need a little bit of something else?
What was the last one? What was last week's?
The last week's was a crowbar hitting a giant metal door in Black Mesa.
Ah.
Oh, yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, you said one of the hints was mod. So I don't know. Black Mesa, is that a mod?
I think it is. I think it started off as a mod.
It did, yeah.
And now we're getting into semantics here. Oh, boy. Christian looks so devilish.
I can't wait for the sound to be the puking
Stop
and
twirling
theme
your
park.
non-existent mustache.
Every week we have to hear it.
Guys, I'm sorry. I do want to give a hint because I mean this is getting ridiculous. What, we're going to give people $1,000? We're just a humble podcast. Come on, guess the sound. Early on in guessing this sound, Emilio said something that it sounds like it has something to do with Steam. Okay, so I just want to put that out there that was kind of on the right track, you know, and maybe the past couple guesses are kind of on the right track too, and maybe we can put A and B together and we can solve this thing, you and me and everyone, once and for all.
I don't think he means the developer. It doesn't sound like the developer.
He means the state of water.
The state of water. Yep.
Ice. Turns out it was water this whole time. Okay.
Ooh, I think I was listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson. He says that on Neptune, I think, or one of those crazy places, the water's in all three states at once. So it's steam, ice, and liquid, all in the same place at the same time because of the fucking, I don't know.
Because
the
of
magic.
Neptune.
Yeah,
Neptune's seas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like Neptune is the one where they think life might be living underneath the crust of the frozen water.
Well, actually, that's the one of the moons of it's one of the moons of somewhere. I don't know.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Anyway.
God, I got well actually by a meal. Fuck's sakes. Okay.
Yeah, but
Does it count as a well actually if he doesn't fucking finish the sentence?
Subs and donos, Emilio. What did we have?
I don't know. I'm fucking drunk, dude. Recycled 68 months. Thank you so much.
Wow.
He says, did you know that the moon's orbit is inclined? That's why eclipses are so rare. If it wasn't, there'd be an eclipse every day.
Wow.
There you go.
Nick, you're in the path of the eclipse tomorrow. Any plans?
To stare at the sun so I can get even more blind. No, I'm going to pick up some glasses today, and then Vivian liked looking at the partial one last year because we had a partial eclipse where I don't know how to explain it, but it looks like the world is not dim, but instead it's like the light is coming from the sides. It's a very weird situation.
Dude, aren't you like? Aren't
I'm
you
in the prime time
number
zone,
one
dude.
spot, dude. You're the number
Yeah.
one spot, right?
Dude,
San Antonio, Texas.
The so it's like this, and then like, well, this is like the only city in the fucking thing besides like Oklahoma and Ohio and all that shit. Like nobody's gonna go there, you know.
Right.
Everyone's gonna
yeah,
come
yeah.
to San Antonio.
You're the only one
because
with
it's
an
nice and food.
airport.
Yeah, pretty much actually.
My brother-in-law, he was like, "I'm going to take the whole family to San Antonio for this."
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it is expected that traffic is going to increase 7-fold tomorrow.
Yeah,
Like just everywhere, and people are taking the day off. Like it's like a fucking city holiday. People are selling. Their HEB is the local grocery store chain in Texas. They're selling
Great
eclipse
spot.
cakes.
Oh,
They're
nice.
selling eclipse cakes. Like
My,
and
Dude,
all kinds of other
cash
shit.
in. I love that. I love that.
Luna came home yesterday and explained to me what a eclipse was. It's when the sun and the moon give each other a very nice hug, and everything goes dark or something.
That's an interesting way to explain.
I think it was a way to like make them not scared. I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it will be pretty freaky. Yeah. We were gonna go to Mazatlan, Mexico. Is this am I pronouncing it right?
Mazatlan.
Yeah, because that is in the direct path, and it's the first place that gets hit by the solar eclipse as it kind of travels over where it's going.
And then what happened, Christian?
Then something interesting happened.
You gonna say it?
Something weird.
I guess that sound, you fuckers.
Yeah.
None of you gamers will ever hear that in real life.
You have
Me
to have
and
sex
Rianne-
first.
Me and Rianne are having a baby, so it's exciting, and yeah, a lot less time for gaming probably in the future, but we didn't see the
It
eclipse.
depends. I'm gonna tell you right now. I was very fortunate with how what kind of baby Vivian was like. She took very long naps, hardly ever cried. We thought she was autistic. She didn't cry that much.
Yeah,
And,
they came over to hang out and were like, "How does your baby sleep for 13 hours a night?" We were like all red-eyed, like, how the fuck? And it turns out just white noise. Well, that was a big part of it, and we've been doing that ever since.
And I had so much time for gaming because of how much she slept and everything. Granted, sleeping is a different story because they will probably wake up in the middle of the night. We'll talk about parenting tips later because I don't want to expand the show for too long. But we'll talk about self-soothing, which is one of the hardest things to do as a parent. So
I'm here for all the advice. If you had advice for me, ping me. I'll listen to everything, but I don't promise to take you seriously if I don't like you. Okay.
Christian, city building starts with building a home.
Every city starts. Every city.
all right,
starts with
everybody,
one
that's
family.
my cue to leave. I'm out of here.
Yeah. Oh, and we interrupted the subs and donos. Sorry, we have one more.
Oh yeah. Tom, subscribed for 8 months. Thank you so much. Just done spreading democracy. Time to spread my butt cheeks over the toilet.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. My brother who supported, like 5 people in a household, he was complaining one time about like, I gotta buy toilet paper. I gotta buy everything. So his, like at the time, 8 or 10-year-old son devised a plan to use less toilet paper. So he's like, Dad, I figured it out. If I spread my butt cheeks real wide, I don't have to use that much toilet paper. And so
It's so fucked up, dude.
I know.
I feel
think
like
he-
that is trauma. That is
Yeah.
like
That is, dude. We were talking about like some kids like that went through like COVID and lockdown and all that other shit. They're gonna have the most unique stories in history. I didn't see my friends for over 6 months, and there was no toilet paper. But we still had the internet, so it was all right.
Yeah.
that's good.
His comment makes me think there's like Helldivers 2 gives you diarrhea. Is that what's happening here?
I think it is
Makes you
related.
dookie your
Yeah.
pants sometimes.
I think he was holding his poop while he was spreading democracy, but I don't know.
Okay.
It's to be
Democracy.
interpreted like art.
Listener questions, Bobby. We have a lot.
Yep, we have a lot. We're going to get to as many as we can today, but if we don't get to all of them, don't worry, we will eventually. The first one comes from AJ Casper. What are your top 3 games on Game Pass and why?
I don't know if I can name 3, but definitely that Crusader Kings 3 on Game Pass is maybe one of the best deals of all time. It's one of the most replayable games. It's usually like an $80, $90 game. And I definitely took advantage of having that on Game Pass for $15 or however much it is.
Can I go on a little bit of a bird walk? I just noticed there's a brand new icon on my fucking computer. I click it and it's a Copilot. Do you guys have this?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Microsoft's AI assistant.
Yeah.
Is it any good?
I don't use it too much, but I hear, it's pretty good.
Interesting.
Ask it what's the top 3 games on Game Pass and why. Maybe let's see.
There we go.
Take our jobs.
Yeah, take our jobs.
It's not even my job. Fuck you guys.
I can't think of 3 games. I can give you 2 though. Sea of Thieves, definitely number 1, and Deep Rock Galactic is still on Game Pass, right? Or
It
was
could
that?
be.
Yeah, I'm just going to say Sea of Thieves. That's the one I feel absolutely confident about. It seems like a lot of them, like I was talking about 2 Point Campus, they're on Game Pass for a while, then they eventually get removed, which kind of sucks. But the Microsoft games, you can be confident that those ones are always going to be on there.
You guys ready for this? Wow.
I'm ready.
Okay. The best games on Xbox Game Pass as of March 2024 include a variety of games and titles. Here are some of the highlights. Halo Master's Chief Collection. It gives you a little sum up of it. Diablo 4, which just started, right? And I heard it wasn't working very well. Starfield, Sea of Stars, Forza, and Fallout New Vegas. For me,
Starfield?
yeah.
Yeah, Starfield's on there.
For me, I would say Hi-Fi Rush. I really enjoyed that game, and it was free.
Yeah, I know. Starfield is on there. I'm just surprised you recommended it. I thought that game was not very popular.
Well, it is. That is fucking Microsoft's fucking AI network.
What?
I got 3 titles. I'll say them rapid fire. Back for Blood, Minecraft, Stardew Valley. But
Back
in all
for
honesty,
Blood.
you shouldn't
That's
be
a
playing
name.
that.
Yeah, that's.
I haven't heard in a long time. Back for Blood.
It's a good
It wasn't
game.
silly enough. That's why I didn't do as well. I think it wasn't silly enough.
Uh,
Left 4 Dead, silly. Back for Blood, a little too serious.
I don't know. But Left 4 Dead came out in the peak of zombie mania too. So I think that
True.
game had a lot of things working for it. And Back for Blood, I also think is a better game. There's actual progression in that game. Like you can level up your characters. They have the card system. I thought it was a good game. I don't know. I think people were going into it with their arms crossed, but just an opinion. All right. Next question from AJ Casper. This one is for me. He says, any tricks or tips for a new person starting Deep Rock Galactic? Don't bother with Hazard 1. Just go right up to Hazard 2. I mean, if you played a video game before, you like a first-person shooter, you can just go straight to Hazard 2. And I used to always tell people to start off with the gunner just because it's the simplest character to learn and kind of the easiest, and it feels like the most effective, especially at the low levels. But honestly, when I started playing, I just started off with a scout just because I thought it was so much fun. So I don't know.
I would stick with that gunner comment though. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's fair, and it's the most like fun, right? Because you're mowing down the most creatures.
Yeah, I mean you're killing lots of enemies, but the scout's just so mobile. So if you try all the classes, if there's one that you really like, stick with that. But usually the gunner's the best way to go. Yeah.
Listen, Bobby, I have 1/10 of the time that you have in this game. Everybody has to listen to me.
All right. Next question from Comfy Unicycle. If you could take a game system from one game and put it into another, what would it be? For example, the fishing from New World put into World of Warcraft.
we gotta separate the fishing game and Treasures of Nadia from the sex part. I'm all for sex positivity, but I don't want to start it up every time I want to play a good fishing game. It's just a little weird. So
There's nothing sexual about the fishing in Treasures of Nadia.
absolutely
The
not.
fishing pole
Oh,
is not
well,
like an erect penis.
no, unfortunately, actually, you're right. There is, but like you catch the fish, and then the shopkeeper that you sell the fish to, you can seduce. So there's that part of it. But
That doesn't
otherwise,
surprise me at all.
the actual fishing part is completely just fishing.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You aren't trying to seduce the fish.
No, they will die. They will be filleted, and it's rather tragic. But
All right. Any answers to this question, Nick
Yes.
and Amelia?
Copilot says, if I'd like to consider taking the crafting system from a game like Minecraft and integrating it into a survival game like The Long Dark. It could add a new layer of depth and survival experience, allowing players to gather resources and crafting items to help them survive in the harsh frozen wilderness. That's
Doesn't
not
know
a
about
bad fucking
crafting
answer.
survivals?
Dude. It's not bad.
everybody,
That-
welcome to Amelia's last episode on the podcast. It's being replaced by AI. It's Microsoft, so we'll see how that goes. It seems like it's pretty good.
I'd be NSAI, not so intelligent AI. I don't know. Anybody else got an answer? So while I think, because I was typing.
The speech system from Mass Effect 2 into like every game that has speech systems, just because it's so nice and easy. Instead of having to like flip through a list, you just use a wheel, and I don't know. I liked it a lot. And that's
They
I
did
think
the
the biggest
same
change in the
thing-
biggest system, but it's nice.
Yeah, that's like a BioWare thing. Didn't they do the same thing in the Star Wars game?
Yep.
Well,
Yeah.
I think they have a patent on that, so no other games can use that.
No other games can have a similar system that uses a radial system to choose discussion points like that.
So fucked.
is that true? Do we have to look that up? Is that for real?
No, look
That
it
seems
up.
I think that's true.
I did a report on
Yeah.
it a long time ago.
It was a fake report, but
No, that was for class.
It was
we were talking
completely
about
plagiarized. There's a bunch of mechanical things like that in games that are patented. I don't know if this is still the case, but I remember hearing about playing cutscenes, like loading the next level while a cutscene is playing, was patented by some
Sony, right?
company. I can't remember
It's,
who, but they were sitting on it for a long time.
Sony patented like the going through a tunnel,
Oh,
like
right,
or like a squeezing through rocks, and that's loading the next level. They patented that, and people got really mad.
And I think the same thing happened with the Lord of the Rings game. Remember where the
yeah.
enemies would remember you?
Yeah.
The Nemesis system.
yeah.
Yep.
By the way, that was supposed to be a Batman game originally, and it got turned into fucking something of Mordor. Yeah,
Shadows of
Still a good
Mordor,
game,
that's
by
what
the
it
way. The
was.
first one, really good game.
Yeah.
Better than any Assassin's Creed, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Was it Shadows of Mordor was the first one?
I
That's
think
the
so,
one I
yeah.
played. I played that in like one weekend, loved it. Never played Shadows of War though. Yeah, I'd like to see that in literally any other game. Like I'd just like to see more of that.
Okay, so the Mass Effect dialogue wheel is patented, but you can make the exact same mechanic on any other shape. Is what I'm hearing from the lawyers.
So squares, octagons, hexagons,
Yeah.
dodecagons. We got it.
but just not the circle, which is so weird. Like,
Don't touch a circle, bitch.
All right. Next question from Comfy Unicycle. My wife and I are going to Oceanside at the end of the month for our 2nd anniversary. Is there any nice eating spot we should hit while we're there?
Happy anniversary, dude! By the way,
Happy
Congrats.
anniversary, dude. 2 years is really good.
I mean, I'll tell you what I know. I don't know if it's like a deep. There's a pizza place called The Best of Juan's, like Juan, like a Mexican guy. Best of Juan's, and they have sauerkraut on the pizza, and I fucking love it. It's so good.
Ooh.
Yeah. But other than that, I don't go to North County very often. Bobby, you got to go to In-N-Out. You have to.
Right.
If-
I mean,
if-
for,
Yeah, but
for
not
your
like, not like
anniversary.
for like your anniversary, dude.
No, but I mean, they're there for the weekend, I'm guessing.
Yeah, maybe. I'm never in Oceanside. I went up there a few times to play cards at a game shop, but I never really spend much time up in that area, so I have no idea what restaurants are up there. But I assume, like most Southern California areas, the Mexican food has got to be good. So maybe something there, and something. It is oceanside, so you're very close to the ocean. Maybe something on the beach would be nice.
My recommendation would be sleep in Oceanside, but leave there as soon as possible. Go down to La Jolla and do things there. It's not that much further.
There you go.
La Jolla is fun. I've been to La Jolla and I've had a lot of fun there.
Yeah. La Jolla is great. Warconius says upcoming release Stellar Blade features an anatomically gifted protagonist. In your opinion, is this in good taste or great taste? And he's got a picture here.
I think, well, we have to get just a little serious for a second because, yes, this is a hot chick, obviously, but everyone is so... there's a huge amount of people who are so focused on Stellar Blade saving gaming because they put a hot chick in the game. There's people claiming that there's no more hot chicks in video games anymore, and this is like their savior game. I don't know. You got like the Asmongold up there being like, "Oh, finally, hot chicks are in video games again." It's like, dude, fuck off. Like, are you looking
that
at
guy's
the
kind
Steam?
of a turd, though. I never.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this is. I think it's awesome that there's titty games. I mean, where would we be without like tits and ass? I mean, why not?
Non-existent.
Non-existent. Yeah.
But is this in good taste? I don't think the developer cares about the thing going
Good
on.
taste. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fine.
Video games known for their good taste.
Yeah.
Well,
But I think
funny enough, sometimes the two merge, right? Like the Tomb Raider series is known because it has both. It's both ridiculously the areas are just as crazy as her figure, you know, and but they were good games. So sometimes you can get both, and the game was in good taste, and whatever. Sometimes you need some pixelated titties.
yeah.
I see what they're saying because I was talking to Sam about like movies in the 80s and 90s. There was a tits or sex scene in every single movie, and now there's no tits. You're lucky to get a kissing scene at this point. I'm not saying it's good or bad. It's just things have changed.
No, it's more marketable if you don't have that. Like you're trying to hit all four quadrants, like hit all the demographics, and you aren't going to get that with nudity or profanity or like some other things. So you're affecting your bottom line.
But every once in a while, you'll have like a movie like Deadpool, which is rated R, and then crushes at the box office because you've had so much of the people trying to hit the four quadrants. So that's what this could be, you know.
I think that's why people are so excited for the next part of like Marvel. They're like, it's like Marvel's Revivalist because apparently a bunch of the movies and shit are going to be rated R. Like any movie featuring Wolverine is going to be rated R and a bunch of other shit. So people are like, if they're superheroes and they blow people apart and they're fighting and they rip each other's heads off, it needs to be rated R.
That's what Deadpool says in his new trailer. He's like, I'm Marvel Jesus. He's like, I'm just gonna bring him rated R back. In the trailer, he's talking to the camera, being like, I'm gonna bring rated R back. I'm gonna save Marvel Universe, cinematic universe.
Like he's breaking the wall. Yeah. Yeah. So with the Stellar Blade thing, to quickly recap, the same people who are loving the ass in Stellar Blade are hating like Ellie in The Last of Us. So I think the context there is like bad. I think those people are misinformed. I think you can live in a world with both these games. You don't really have to be so doomer and gloomy. Yeah, it doesn't have to be divisive.
I don't get the people that like don't like Ellie because first of all, she's gay, so it's like she's not gonna like you guys. And second of all, she's in a post-apocalyptic universe where everything's being consumed by fucking spores. There's no time to be hot. Like there's like it's not a thing.
Yeah, dude, but people really care about that. People really want hot female protagonists, I guess, so they can jerk off.
Yeah, go play some Korean or Chinese games where that's like the only thing in them. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. All right, moving on.
All right. Warconius also asks, could you ever play 1,000,000 hours of a game? Which one, and would you get good? I don't think that's possible.
1,000,000 is a long time, homie.
Well, there's like, there's like 9,000 hours in a year, right? 8 or 9,000. Somebody do the math here. If I remember correctly, there's like 8 or 9,000 hours in a year. So how many of that goes into 1,000,000 hours?
And is the game supported? Like, does it like?
That's like over 100 years.
It's 114 years. So
Yeah, there's a lot of questions to that. I mean, I think my legitimate only like answer to that would be like Minecraft, because it's so open ended that you can just keep playing it for that long. Like, I don't think you can.
I don't know, man. I could probably do that in Minesweeper.
yeah, I'm going to say competitive chess. It's lasted 114 years. It's lasted 500, 600,
That's a really good
800
answer,
years.
man. That's a really good answer.
People
You know
have
what's
been playing that
funny?
game for a long time.
And then after that 115 years, you'd probably still not be as good as like Magnus or whatever, you know?
Oh, totally not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
That's a different breed of human supercomputer.
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Like, it's a different story. Like, I've seen interviews with those guys, and you're like, yes, I see the tism peeking through. Like, you guys are extremely smart and extremely talented. I love you guys.
Dude, I love that chess is coming back for the kids, though. People are like sharing their ratings, like chess.com is popping off. And, you know, when I was a kid, chess wasn't really cool. And now it is, which is cool.
I called this like, I think it was the first time I quit playing Heroes of the Storm. And I jokingly said, I'm going to get really into chess. And Ray, who was on the podcast at the time, he said, I swear to God, if you come in every week talking about chess, I'm leaving.
And then he left.
Yeah. And then he left. But yeah, man, I called it. I knew chess was coming back.
I haven't taken the screenshot out of this girl's butt since we started talking. So something's going on.
All right.
Everybody,
Next question from
target audience.
Zap. What's your favorite game to play when you don't know what to play?
I usually play something very
Brainless.
low input or like low stakes. So like Balatro or Magic the Gathering. Like I could play those on autopilot. So something like
Card
that.
games are good for that. Like Monster Train is a game that I like. If I'm just trying to kill some, this doesn't happen very often, but I'm just like, I need something to pass the time right now, and I don't know what to play. It's going to be Monster Train, maybe Deep Rock Galactic.
Sam sat down and played Balatro, and she goes talking shit the whole time. And then after her run, she goes, "I want to play again."
I have a friend who's like lost his life to that game, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he used to be like a League of Legends player. He used to like go to work and all this stuff, and now he just plays Balatro. Like, he's taking 4 days off to play Balatro, dude. I'm like, dude, it's not that good.
I like how those two things are on the same. He used to be a League of Legends player. He used to work and shit. Yeah. Bobby, you gave some good advice that I've internalized maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where you said, if you don't feel like playing any game, maybe you don't feel like playing games, you know? And I've tried to, I found that true for myself. Like, I'm sitting down and I have this in my head that I want to relax. And so I open up my Steam library and just nothing is jumping out at me. And I'm like, previously I would open up like a Civ or open up a game where I could play like as second nature. And now I'm like, maybe I want to go for a walk. Maybe I want to read a book, or, you know, maybe I just want to do some other shit. So thank you for that advice. And
Yeah, soon it's going to be like, maybe I want to go raise my children.
Yeah. Wait till it's forced. I think something like that though, like what's really interesting is like I've been trying to get a little healthier, right? I worked out like how many calories I was eating a day. It was like 3,200. And so that's not healthy for like a 31-year-old male.
That doesn't move around much.
That doesn't hardly move, yeah. And so now if I don't feel like playing games, or like even between games, I'll like stretch or like do like small amounts of exercise, like push-ups and sit-ups and burpees and stuff. So it's been pretty good. It's been pretty fun. So
Keep it
like
up.
you said, if you don't feel like playing anything, don't play anything. Paint some models, go for a walk, feed some fish. I don't know. Do something.
All right. Next question from Zap. What's your favorite and least favorite thing about the place you live?
Can I go first? Because I have an answer on the cusp
Go
that I was
for
actually
it.
going to talk about earlier. My favorite thing about the San Antonio area is like the diversity of like everything that's available, right? Compared to Augusta, Georgia, it's like there was one legitimate Japanese place and it was always closed. Here, I mean, I'm talking about food, by the way. Here, there's all kinds of food. My least favorite thing about it is Tex-Mex food. Tex-Mex is a lie. It's a sham. It's not
It's
that
not
good.
good. Yeah.
It's not it like there's people here that lie on purpose. They'll have like super Mexican sounding names for their like taqueria, and it'll be like a Tex-Mex place. And I'll legitimately like it's one of the only times I'll review something. I'm like, this is not Mexican food. This is Tex-Mex. There's a difference. Fuck you guys. It like for those who don't understand, go to California, eat some Mexican food, and like San Diego, and then come to San Antonio and eat some Mexican food, and you'll see that there's a world of difference.
Yeah, a lot more corn and everything they make, and a lot more It's just
fried
different.
shit.
Yeah.
Like it's like like a chimichanga. That's Tex-Mex. Like that is not real Mexican food. It's a bunch of other shit.
I'm surprised that San Antonio has more options than. I thought you were near Atlanta when you were in Georgia. Were you somewhere else?
2.5 hours away.
Oh, okay, so you weren't in kind of a metropolitan area.
No, if I was in Atlanta, it would have been a different story. Atlanta has so much good food.
My favorite thing about San Diego is everything but the price of everything, and the least favorite thing is the price of everything. We recently got voted or awarded the title of least affordable city in America when you take price of things and cross-reference it with how much people are making. Least affordable city. Here I am, living the dream.
Nice.
Yeah, you don't really notice that until you get older too. Like as I've gotten older, I've really started to notice how expensive everything is, how regulated everything is, and it's a little easier on me because I've never lived anywhere else. But I've talked to enough people, and I was looking just for fun. I was looking around at like property for sale, and I saw one in Arizona, not Mesa. What's that? Around the Scottsdale area. And it was a literal mansion for like, I don't know, $1.2 million, like a literal mansion. Dude, I'm talking to like it looked like a drug dealer lived here. Like you'd see security guards
Probably
walking
did.
around. You could film a movie at this place. It was a literal mansion. And that's $1.2 million. Dude, 1.2 will get you a house.
My house.
Like a
This house here
3-bedroom.
is
Yeah, dude, the house
1.1.
that you live in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, that'll get you like a 3-bedroom house in a nice neighborhood here.
Yeah.
Like in a residential like area,
My-
dude. And this was like it just blew my mind. But I don't know. And that's not even really like I get by, dude. Like I do all right. And I've kind of accepted that, man. I love San Diego. I'd never live anywhere else. I'm constantly like stopping and looking at things like a sunrise or palm trees or something like that, and just like appreciating the fact that I live
Yeah.
here, practicing
Yeah, for
that
sure.
gratitude. I'm just like, dude, that's amazing that like I am living in San Diego, like one of the best places on earth. A little
It really
biased,
is.
but
It really is. Dude, I was on vacation a couple of times and I was like, I'd rather be home right now.
yeah.
Like it's hard to say, but yeah, sometimes not every day in Thailand, but like a couple of days, I'm like, okay, I'd rather be home.
Yeah, dude. It
It's
really
perfect
is
weather.
incredible here.
It's perfect weather.
It's weather, it's atmosphere. Like
People are
pretty
happier.
cool. Yeah, it's just
Everybody's good looking. It's fucking awesome. Not everybody, but
and it's really it can be easy to forget that, but I don't know. I'm surprised that like I've lived here all my life, and it's still like almost every day I'm just like it'll just be like driving home from work or something like that. I'll just notice something and just like appreciate the fact that I live here. But my least favorite thing, aside from the money, is the traffic is just horrible.
it gets worse every year.
Yeah. And I've seen that happen because like I worked at the same place for 10 years and I saw it got like my commute get worse over 10 years. And then you talk to people who've been here since like the 70s and they're just like, oh yeah, you used to be able to just like drive down to the beach, park, get out, go do that thing. Now it's like you look around for half an hour, you park like half a mile away. It's so incredibly crowded here. Our population has like doubled, and I don't
One
know.
of the
like,
reasons why
It's
everything
not
is so expensive.
sustainable. It's not sustainable
Yeah.
with car culture, folks. That's my least favorite part of Calgary. There's so much to be appreciative of as far as like closeness to natural beauty, like the Rocky Mountains or like the Drumheller Basin. Like you have a desert on one side, you have the mountains on the other side, you have these beautiful rolling plains a bit south. We're just surrounded by awesome things to go to, and the city itself is awesome.
For
I
4
mean,
months a year.
well, that's the thing. You guys are saying the weather is always great, which is awesome, and I don't have that experience, so maybe I'm coming up from jaded. But my favorite part of the year is winter. Like I like the changes in the seasons. I want to go outside and build a snowman. I want to go beside the fire and be cozy. I want to have the experience of like snow melting and the trees becoming beautiful and growing leaves. Like that's all awesome to me.
Dude,
So
I love the seasons too. That's why California got rid of all the shitty ones.
See, I love the winter. That's why I would
old
live
Tosh
in Canada as
.0
well.
joke.
Yeah, that's a Tosh point out.
We only have one kind of weather.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I mean winter is fun in kind of like an idyllic sense, but I think the reality of dealing with it, I
Yeah,
don't like at all,
shoveling.
dude. Like I gotta like wear all these clothes to go outside. Like my hands get cold. I gotta wear gloves. I can't work my phone if I'm wearing the wrong kind of gloves.
If my car
Gotta
breaks down, I
self-control.
die.
it's
Put
such a
chains on your
California
car.
mentality. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't use my phone when I have gloves on. Come on, people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just like the safety things too, like driving on the roads when there's ice or snow or yeah.
Black
I
eyes.
don't.
I'm on your side here, Christian. Don't worry about it.
I
But
don't
I do
wanna
like
deal
San
with that.
Diego as well.
Yeah, dude, out here it's just like, oh, it's a little chilly today. Maybe I'll put on a hoodie. That's like about as bad as it gets, dude. That's like about as worse as it gets out here. But okay, next question from the Bearded Dan. Are there any gaming related books you enjoy or recommend? And he also says non-Warhammer for Nick and not Blood, Sweat, and Pixels from Bobby.
Haha, that's
We
pretty
talked
good.
about that those a couple times.
Now
Yeah.
Chris is going to answer blood setting pixels.
Haha.
It's not directly gaming relating because the books came first, but I read the Witcher books and I enjoyed them. I wouldn't have continued. I read all three or listened to all three. So I'll go
The
with
Witcher
those.
books. Okay.
The Ravnica books for Magic the Gathering. Haha, super sended.
There's a book that's on its way to Bobby right now called Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow. It is not like The Witcher, like Skyrim, or it's not from a video game book, but it is a fictional book about game developers in the 80s and kind of like that dream of game development. Like, oh, I made it in my dorm room and we got together and we know this other guy with some money and we got together and we made a game and people loved it. It's a really good book. It's not really about game development, spoiler alert, some fucked up shit happens like always. It's about the interpersonal relationships between the people making the game, and it's
And this
fascinating.
is fiction.
Yes, it's
So
fake.
this was a fictional book. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Most of
Christian,
the
did
books
you
that I read about video games are nonfiction. I bring up Blood, Sweat, and Pixels a lot just because that one's good, and there's so many of these nonfiction video game books that are really bad. Most of them are not good. But Blood, Sweat, and Pixels, yeah, that was good. There was another one called Significant Zero by, I always get this guy's name wrong. I think it's not Walt Whitman, Will Whitman or something. It's very close to that. That was another one about just like modern gaming that was really good. And then about 10 years ago, I read Masters of Doom, which is the story of id Software, John Carmack, John Romero, the makers of Doom. And as I was reading that book, I have a feeling if I went back and read that book again, I wouldn't like it as much, or I wouldn't be as wowed by it. But I realized as I was reading it, this was like kind of the history of video games, or at least like the birth of the first person shooter that everything spawned out of. And just when video games turned into like this kind of small niche thing that you could kind of make a living at. I mean, Sierra Games was around then, so I mean, people were still making these. They had businesses that made games, but really, it didn't blow up into what we know as like the video game industry until like these guys came along, and then just like even Half-Life was built off of like the Quake engine or something. I think it was Quake. I'm not sure, one of those engines, but it kind of came from this. So it was really interesting to see just how all that stuff started.
Bobby, please listen to Carmack's interview with Lex Friedman. Yeah, I mean, it'll be 4 days of driving stuff. Oh, you don't do you drive still to work?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Then
it's
there
just
you
not
go.
very far.
Yeah.
Okay, last question from Time Killer B. What was one of your worst fears with one of your PC builds or rigs?
I mean, I think it's always the same, that it's not going to work when you boot up for the first time, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But usually I have Bobby with me, and I mean, I feel a lot better.
Well, you
builder
bought a
Sherpa.
pre-built last time too. There's a lot less to worry about.
I'm
with
always
that.
going to go pre-built now. Like, I don't get any.
Yeah, they
Well,
just
right
work.
now it's cheaper to go pre-built. Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
don't get more satisfaction out of building it myself for some
I
reason.
built one with Rianne's nephew last month and a half ago, and it didn't post.
Oh, that's
And
right.
the VRAM light was yellow, and we tried everything, but I'm trying to have him build most of it and me just be a resource if he needs. So I'm kind of like, oh, maybe we should try that. And he's going through and he's kind of disappointed. He's like, I looked up all the guides. I don't know why this isn't working. And he went off and I started looking at it and I just replaced the VRAM and I pressed a little harder until it clicked. And this was like a day and a half of troubleshooting, and that was all that it took, dude. Just the RAM needs to be pressed into the motherboard
All the way in, yeah.
Yeah,
I feel like that happens a lot. The RAM just isn't seated properly. But yeah, that can be a common mistake. I don't know. I don't think I'll ever go pre-built just because every time I build a PC, there's very specific things that I want. I spent so much money on my last one that I was worried that it wasn't going to work. But really, the last when I built my NAS that is running TrueNAS, that was kind of stressful because that was very different. So for me, like I've been building PCs for so long now that it's not really that stressful. But building this NAS box was kind of I kind of sympathize with people who are building things for their first time, and I kind of understood the fear when you're buying these really expensive parts and you're not really sure how they go together or if it's going to work or how it works. But it was just very, very different because it's not a Windows operating system. It's in a very, very small enclosure. I've got all these like host bus adapters to like hook up the hard drives, and they're all supposed to work in a very specific way. And like when you create this pool of hard drives, and the redundancy, like I've done RAID before, but this was a little different. Like it was just a lot of new stuff from the software configuration side that had me real stressed out. And it was a lot of work. It took me like a full month of just like working on it on my off time to get it where I wanted, make sure, because the whole point of this thing is to store a bunch of data and to have that not get corrupted, not get lost. And if there's a physical failure, there's got to be redundancy. So I've had to like set up backups and schedule things, and it just got really technical. And
Bobby, at the end of the day, though, like, is it really worth it? How much hentai can one man own?
sure.
I actually,
Truly all of it.
yeah, how much is there on the internet? Let me see how much I'm using up right now. I think out of my
Gigaflop?
let's see, I'll let you know right now. So I've got about 63. That can't be right.
Teraflops?
No. What am I looking at here? Okay, there we go. So I've got 37 and a half terabytes left of space. And I'm about
It's
half.
like every movie in existence.
Yeah, I got a lot of data on there, man. And transferring all that data was a real pain. And then getting like things set up it was just, I don't know, man. I look back on it now. I'm like, did I really need all this? It was more about the experience of doing it all. But
I'm glad you had a good experience.
It has been nice.
In the post-apocalyptic world, it'll be like the Library of Alexandria, but it'll just be hentai.
Till the Mongols come and burn it, dude.
I mean, it sounds like a lot, but it really isn't, man. Things just take up space these days, dude. Have you installed a video game lately? Like, dude, hard drive
Like
space
Battlefront 2 remake and Battlefront 1 remake.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, that is all our questions.
Oh, I was
What's that?
stealing the. Oh, sorry. Keep going. My bad.
Oh, I was just going to ask what everyone was playing next week.
More WoW. More WoW. More WoW.
That's not-
That's my answer.
Less Epoch.
Yeah, maybe I'll download Last Epoch off of Emilio's.
I don't think you can, dude. I think the new Steam things have gone into effect. The new family sharing. I
Right.
think we have to set them up again, or
Oh,
I don't know.
We all
Because
need to be a family. We're a family. This is a family unit. Aw.
hello, little one.
Hello, Vivian.
All right. Maybe I'll check out Roller Coaster Tycoon or 2 Point Hospital. We'll see.
2, dude. Roller coaster. I think the 2 in the roller coaster is pretty important.
I have all 3 of them apparently on Steam. So you're saying no? Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 came out in 2020.
I've never
Wait,
played
is-
this 3.
Oh, wait, no, that's
I think
2006.
2 is safe in my mind.
2 is
Safe
good.
Alright.
2 is the one that I played. Probably
3 is too many.
400 hours of.
One is not enough. That's
One's
the
not
rules.
enough. All right.
It's
So-
the loneliest number.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 2, the triple throw pack.
I'm going to steal the intro from Emilio just this episode.
Outro.
Outro. That's what I meant. It feels weird to be, going through something that we all go through, which is the death of a pet. Had to say goodbye to Cherry, who sat beside me. You may know her as the Tuxedo Cat if you listen to the YouTube version. If you're just listening, you might also recognize her because when I would talk at the beginning of every episode, she would jump up and move my boon arm and smash it into my desk. So you might have heard like, "Ptch, ptch, ptch," and I could never remove that as much as I tried. It was very frustrating. So Cherry is no longer with us, and we've all lost a pet, or most of us have lost a pet. So I just want to dedicate this episode to all the pets that sit beside us as we game or watch movies or do other things and keep us companions. And I'll finish the show with cherry titties, everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping
Goodbye.
Cherry had titties. Bobby, you still headed over?
Yeah. Is now a good time?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's do the countdown.